The story kicks off with Taran narrating how he got married young, and it's almost been a decade. He says their life is now filled with dry handies and his wife named Secret always has to clean his sticky, crunchy socks. After practice, Taran Jenkins takes his son Terrence home. Terrence stumbles across a spicy photo of a woman on Taran's phone. Terrence asks who the F the hoe is. Taran tries to downplay it, telling his son it's just some random lady trying to get her potassium from bananas. Once they get home, Terrence is clearly not okay. He heads straight to his room. Sensing the tension, Taran checks in on him and urges him to keep what he saw secret from his mom. Terrence agrees, but only on the condition that Taran finally gets him the bike he promised. As time goes on, Taran feels increasingly disconnected from his family. His brother Jay is a reckless drunk, and his brother-in-law Stephen is just boring. They all sit down to eat together with their mom. Later, Taran and Stephen share a few drinks. Taran asks Stephen what the single life might feel like, clearly hinting at his own marital doubts. Stephen reminds Taran that he married young and fast, then asks what's really going on with Secret. Taran admits he still loves her, but feels like he's outgrown the marriage and wonders if he deserves someone perfect. But Stephen shuts that down quick, saying the idea of a perfect woman is just an illusion, and if Taran's looking for answers, he needs to start at home. Later on, Taran links up with his boys. As they play cards, the conversation drifts into how they're always out smashing chicks. Everyone laughs, but Kurt, who's been quiet, gets teased for being the guy who used to bag the most women, now suddenly preaching about being a gentleman. Tweet tells him to chill, saying, "No hoes are going after him," and they all burst into laughter. Kurt actually loves his wife and doesn't seem to care. Taran jokingly asks Kurt if he's seeing someone else on the side. The question clearly rubs Kurt the wrong way, especially since Taran's the one projecting. But before things get too heated, they all quickly brush it off and change the subject. Kurt brings up the meeting about the nightclub they're planning. Jay, caught off guard, asks what club they're talking about. He's surprised they're working on something without him, especially since he once pitched a business idea to Kurt himself. Taran shuts it down quickly. Then with a smirk, he adds that it's big men's business. Well, Jay kinda big, literally. Later, Taran meets up with his side piece, Monica, to officially end things. Sitting in his car, Monica tries to seduce her way back in by touching his butthole, but Taran has IBS. He gives her a tennis bracelet as a parting gift, to show he wasn't just using her, but Monica snatches the bracelet and leaves. The next day, while getting ready for work, Secret tries to have a serious conversation with Taran, but a call from Simon comes in just in time to interrupt. On the call, Simon tells Taran he's intrigued by the nightclub proposal and is ready to get on board. Still bothered, Secret tells Taran she's tired of always taking the backseat in their relationship. Taran tries to reassure her, but she doesn't feel loved or prioritized. He explains how much pressure he's under at work and how important this deal is, not just for him, but for them as a family. He reminds her of everything they've already built and promises to make it up to her, starting this weekend. Just the two of them. No kids, no distractions. Later at the office, Taran receives another anonymous email. This one reads, "You've been blessed with a beautiful family, and yet you continue to shit on your blessing." Could you imagine if it was his son Terrence sending this? Just as he finishes reading it, his co-worker Richard walks in and asks if he got the email about their upcoming meeting with the boss, Philip. For a second, Taran panics, thinking Richard means the anonymous message, but then he snaps out of it and plays it cool. In the meeting, Philip introduces them to the company's new temp hire, Victoria Campbell. She's a temp all right. Tempting. To hit their year-end targets, Philip believes bringing Victoria on board is a smart move. Everyone nods along, biting their lips while Taran sits back and watches her closely. Back at home, Secret finds a message on Taran's phone with smiley faces and heart emojis. Suspicious, she asks him who the hoe is, and Taran brushes it off, saying he has no idea and tells her jealousy doesn't look good on her. But Secret isn't playing. She fires back, saying the real issue is the fact that their son is seeing all them hoes Taran's been messaging. May this type of son, who has my back, find me. The next day at work, Victoria walks in on Taran. After some casual conversation, it becomes clear that she's the one who sent yesterday's text. She's openly flirting, even after finding out Taran has a wife and family, and as she's about to leave, she casually suggests they grab drinks sometime. This woman is trifling. It's the weekend, and Taran takes Secret out on a solo New Year's date. Just the two of them. Back home, Secret tries once again to talk about their relationship, but Taran avoids the heavy stuff. Instead, he distracts her with a shiny new chain and follows it up with some eggplant and Parmesan cream that leaves her temporarily content. During the act, Taran sees Victoria's face, though. Meanwhile, Victoria keeps getting bolder with her advances toward Taran, but he stays firm, reminding her that he has a beautiful wife at home who's got everything he needs. Still, the tension is there, and it's getting harder to ignore. Emphasis on the harder. At dinner, Secret's friends tells her to check Taran's phone and even give him a sniff test. Another friend says to ignore the single friend's advice because that's why she stays single. Taran and Kurt finally launch their nightclub as planned. The grand opening is a hit, with music bumping, drinks flowing, and everyone in high spirits. While Secret is enjoying herself, A foreign guy tries to hit on her, and she shuts him down instantly. At the same time, Victoria finds out she's been pulled off the Philadelphia project, the one she was supposed to work on with Taran. Upset about not seeing him at work anymore, she reaches out and asks to meet. That night at the club, Taran introduces her to Secret. The moment is awkward, as Secret clearly senses something off and doesn't feel comfortable around her. Taran decides to spend the night at a hotel, but to his surprise, Victoria shows up at the same hotel he booked. Nah, you can't tell me that wasn't planned by the both of them. At that point, Taran gives in and they end up doing Pilates. Her kitty's so good that Taran forgets he has a business meeting that he was too late for. Not long after, Secret discovers a credit card charge for 2 chains, but she only received 1. Suspicious, she confronts Taran, asking who the second chain was for, but Taran dodges the question and things start to unravel. To make matters worse, Taran accuses Secret of messing around with his friend Kurt, whom she was seen with earlier. Whether it's real or just jealousy, the tension boils over, and he tells her they need some space. Unfortunately, their cute, innocent kids witness all of this. Taran moves out, finds a new place, and keeps spending time with Victoria, fully stepping into the affair that's been simmering for a while. The morning after getting her shit pushed back in, Taran catches her saying, "I love you" on the phone. She says it was her dad, not another daddy. Meanwhile, a heartbroken Secret confides in Taran's mom, named Mother Dear, about who she's become lately. She opens up about her pain, her confusion, and how lost she feels. Taran's mom listens patiently, then gently advises her to pull herself together and fight for her husband's love. But she also reminds Secret that love isn't one-sided. She needs to take responsibility for her role in the mess too. In that moment, Secret has flashbacks of her own secrets. Meanwhile, at the club, Taran and Kurt meet up with Simon, but things feel tense since Kurt isn't feeling the way Taran's been sneaking around with Victoria. He tries to talk some sense into him, but Taran's already too deep in Victoria, literally, and his mind's made up. Things take a wild turn when Jay gets high and starts acting out, causing a scene in the club. Taran is disgusted by his behavior and tries to talk him down, but Jay won't listen. Pissed, Taran ends up punching Jay right in the face, but he storms off still pissed, and Victoria calms him down the only way she knows how, offering him some of her roast beef in the washroom. Elsewhere, Secret almost slips into temptation with the same guy who flirted with her at the club. They start making out, and it gets heated, but before she can get her salad tossed, she backs away. A few days later, things aren't looking good for Taran at work. All of a sudden, Philip, his boss, pulls him aside and orders a drug test, insisting he hasn't been himself lately, and it's starting to show. Overwhelmed, Taran finally decides to open up to Stephen. They meet up, and Taran confesses everything, beginning from the affair with Victoria to the weird, anonymous emails he's been receiving. Stephen, concerned, tells him to forward all the messages, promising that he'll look into them and try to get to the bottom of it. Just as things start to feel a bit lighter, Kurt bursts in, frustrated and disappointed. He delivers the bad news that they've lost the investors they were supposed to partner with for the club. Meanwhile, Secret runs into Victoria and catches her with Taran's file. Suspicious, she wastes no time asking what she's doing with her husband's file, but Victoria tells her it's none of her business. Secret doesn't flinch and slaps the hoe. She warns Victoria to stay the hell away from her man. Then Taran's drug test comes back positive. He tries to explain the situation to Philip, hoping he'll understand, but Philip has already lost faith, since Taran's recent behavior at work has been off. No matter how he spins it, there's no way to talk himself out of this, and he loses his job. A few days later, Stephen finally wraps up his investigation and discovers that Victoria also has a family. While she's been messing around with Taran, she's been living a double life. Surprise, the trifling hoe is a trifling hoe. From that day on, everything starts falling apart for Taran. Stripped of his job and his dignity, he decides to go back home, back to the woman he truly loves. But when he gets there, Secret is already prepared to go out on a date with the same guy from the club. Taran tries to stop her and tries to win her back, but at this point she is done, and his apologies don't mean a thing anymore. Overwhelmed and spiraling, Taran drowns himself in alcohol, lost in his regrets. Suddenly his phone rings. He gets a call that Terrence was hit by a car while riding his bike. Taran rushes to the hospital, where he finds Secret, his friends, and his family already waiting. The doctor informs them that Terrence has internal bleeding and needs a blood transfusion urgently. The doctor suggests everyone get a test to see whose blood matches Terrence's, and surprisingly, only Jay's blood seems to be a match. Taran, filled with anger, asks Secret what the hell is going on and how their blood doesn't match. Turns out that Terrence is not his son, but his brother Jay had slept with Secret. Taran struggles to control his anger, so he runs over to Jay, but his friends, all disappointed, stop him before things get bloody. And since Terrence's life is on the line, Jay offers to donate his blood to save the kid. Shamefully, Secret explains that the whole thing happened a few weeks before she even met Taran. It was a one-night stand. She met Jay at a party, they were drunk, and they smashed. She found out she was pregnant, but she couldn't bring herself to say anything. She didn't want to destroy the family, so she kept quiet and moved on like nothing happened. Later, Taran runs to his mother. She urges him to own up as a man. When Jay walks in, Mother Dear insists nobody leaves unless they settle their differences. Jay explains himself, but it's a hard pill to swallow, especially for Taran. Taran gets a call from Kurt, so he leaves to see him. On meeting Kurt in secret, he finds out that ever since Secret noticed his moves with Victoria, she had teamed up with Kurt to place security cameras around him. They play a video that reveals Victoria lacing his drink with some kind of drug, and now he can't thank them enough. Taran meets Victoria, who has already taken his office. Feeling like a chess master, Victoria thinks she has pulled a checkmate on Taran until he shows her the video evidence, and she breaks down. In the end, she gets arrested and Taran gets his job back. Later, Taran finds out from Steven that the random emails he has been getting are from his mom. Shocked, Taran appreciates Steven for his effort, and he returns to his wife and kids. Some days later, the whole family gets together, and Taran asks his mom why she has been sending those emails. Then she says she has been trying to save his ass from making silly mistakes. Someone get this retired grandma a hobby so she can mind her business. Thereafter, Mother Dear says everyone has a secret and reveals that Jay and Taran have different fathers, and they're only half-brothers. And that's the end of the movie, proving that everyone in your life might as well be trifling, except Denise Lawton. What did y'all think of this one?
Hey, if you like this video, make sure you subscribe now and turn on the notification because YouTube isn't recommending my videos. And if you'd like to watch more foolishness, click here or here.